Good morning, my friends. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, my friends. I hope you're all well. I'm trying a new setup this morning, but starting my conversation with you on spiritual solutions for existential anxiety, human suffering, and overcoming the fear of death. So, I'm doing this as a partial series with you every day. And it's great to see all of you here. And for a while, I kind of stepped away from talking about my book, MetaHuman, Unleashing Your Infinite Potential. But some of the themes that I'm discussing right now are actually based on the waking up that is necessary from human to meta-human. So just want to give a short plug for the book. But now let's go into how we are going to continue sharing um, our experiences and our insights and our experiential knowledge of fundamental reality to actually go beyond existential anxiety, human suffering, and the human fear of death. So this is something actually we should be doing all the time. The pandemic is only giving us an opportunity to understand our true self and our true nature. And in this series, I am suggesting that our true nature is I am. I am before the conditioned mind. I am Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra is a story. It's a provisional story. There are many versions of the story, depending on who you ask. You know, and so who's Deepak Chopra? He's that pseudoscientist, profound bullshitter. Oh, he's actually a good writer. He's a physician. He's a husband. He's a doctor. He's a father. He's a child. There's a story. There are many stories. Okay, so when I say I am, we are not referring to a person, but to an infinite awareness in which the person itself is a process. And that process, as I've mentioned many times before, is an intermittent stream of perceptions, sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts that we label as a person. Okay, so much for the philosophy, but how does this help? First of all, awareness itself is the highest self-regulation. So awareness prior to its fluctuations as the mind or into perceptions or into the experience of the body or the experience of the world. Prior to that, awareness is the state of least excitation. And being the state of least excitation, it is also the state of least entropy. And being the state of least entropy, it is also the state of highest self regulation, which means maximum homeostasis and least inflammation, and actually also a fine tuned immune system. This all translates into one thing, which is self regulation. And that self regulation is at all levels. So, okay, it's at the level of in the body, it's at the level of molecules, it's at the level of atoms and particles and cells and organs and the correlation of those organs and their activities with each other, and then the correlation of the body with the experiences of the world. It's all a process, and that process ultimately is self-regulating. Cells are self-regulating, molecules are self-regulating, organs are self-regulating. The activity of the organs with each other is self-regulating, and ultimately our emotional activity and our mind and our relationships are all self-regulating and are also entangled with each other. Entangled with each other. So when we understand that, then we also understand that ultimate self-awareness, which is awareness at the level of being, I am as being, prior to feeling, prior to thinking, prior to doing, prior to speaking, I am is the highest intelligence. And over the last few days, we've been discussing the qualities of this pure awareness. And every day I've been talking about one quality, calling it the unified field of consciousness that differentiates into everything that we call experience, all knowers, all modes of knowing, all things known. And in this framework, even COVID-19, the virus, is an experience. It's an experience. Before we can call it a virus, we have to know that it exists. And in order to know that it exists, we have to be aware of its existence. And that awareness is what we're calling the self. Okay? Not as a person, but as an infinite awareness in which the person and the virus and everything else are entangled, are correlated. Now, this seems to be a very metaphysical concept and totally irrelevant as we are trying to figure out how to prevent the transmission of the COVID-19 and how to minimize cytokine storms and decrease inflammation and maximize immunity or fine-tune the immunity. So this conversation seems irrelevant, but it's not actually. It affects all those things. And ultimately, it is a deeper level of healing because it takes you beyond existential anxiety, suffering, and the fear of death, which is the true healing. Okay, so what's today's part 5? The quality of the unified field, and what is the practice, if there is a practice. Okay, so today what I'm saying is, I am is always present, all powerful, all knowing. I am is always present, is the experience of presence, the experience of being right now. So I am is having this experience. I am is having the experience of Deepak Chopra. It is having the experience of all of you giving me feedback. It is having the experience of that tree. It is having the experience of thoughts. It is having the experience of sound, etc. Without going further, I am is the presence of being in every experience. There is no experience in the absence of I am. So I am is always present everywhere, anywhere where there is experience. Number one. Second thing I said, I am is all powerful. So all powerful means I am is the source of all energy. Okay. I am moving my hand. How do I move my hand? Because I am modifies itself into a thought, which then modifies itself into this activity, movement. That requires energy. So I am is the source of the energy that is moving these hands, that is moving these vocal cords, that is seeing that tree, that is communicating with you, and is also listening to you. So I am is the source of energy. All energy. Energy is that which physicists call that which is necessary to do work. Whether it's to speak, whether it's to look here, whether it is to look there, whether it is to experience this sensation, clap the hand, make this noise. Without I am, there is no energy. Energy is called prana, by the way, and prana is cosmic energy that comes from the cosmic I am. Okay? And it's present everywhere. Wherever there is I am, which is everywhere, there is energy. So I am is all powerful. It's the source of movement. The movement in consciousness, which is subtle, we call thoughts, emotions, feelings, memories, desires. The movement, which is more gross, we call the body and the physical world, but it's the movement of prana, or what is also called the Shakti of Shiva. Shiva is pure consciousness, and Shakti is the excitation of pure consciousness. Shiva and Shakti. Okay. Prana, the movement of cosmic energy. Spanda, vibration, excitation. It's the excitation of I am that is the source of all the energy in the universe. And I am is all knowing. I am knows experience. In fact, I am knows itself as experience. Experience of the body, experience of the mind, experience of the world. So I am is present everywhere. What is that called? It's called omnipresence. I am is all powerful. What is that called? Infinite energy, omnipotent. And I am knows all experience. I am is the knowing element of all experience, everywhere. Okay? What is that called? Omniscience. So I am is omnipresent, is omnipotent, and omniscient. What more can we want? If we are grounded in I am, then I am is infinite knowing, infinite power, and infinite presence. All we have to do is cultivate the presence of being in every experience. That's it. Cultivate the presence of being in every experience. Be present to every experience as it arises, is known, and as it disappears on the screen of consciousness, including the changing experience of the body, the changing experience of perceptions, the changing experience of mind, the changing experience of thought, feelings, emotions, whatever. I am is the presence of being in the changing experience. And if we cultivate that presence, then it leads to omniscience, which means spontaneous knowing, not intellectual knowing, spontaneous knowing. Spontaneous knowing of spontaneous action, which is evolutionary. Spontaneous right action, spontaneous knowing, spontaneous choice making, automatically, without having to worry about it. Anticipation of a response, a memory, resistance, its lightness of being is I am, the presence of being. So today, let's cultivate that. And there is a mantra. There are many mantras, but let's choose one for today. The mantra is Aham Brahmasmi. I am the universe. Brahman is the cosmic intelligence, and Brahman is the cosmic physical manifestation of that as a perceptual activity, changing perceptual activity in I am. I am modifies itself as the universe. If you have a thought like that, how can you be worried about anything? How can you be concerned about anything? Because I am is ultimate freedom, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, right now. Now, if you want a little intellectual understanding of this, this is also called infinite correlation, which means I am correlates everything with everything else instantly. So the activities of the cells of your body are correlated with all the other cells of the body instantly. The activities of the organs of your body are correlated with all the activities of your other organs instantly. Sensations are instantly correlated with perceptions. Perceptions are instantly correlated with emotions and thoughts and images and feelings and desires. Everything is instantly correlated. Our sleep wake cycles, our digestive processes, our body temperature, our dreams, our social interactions, our personal relationships, that which we call our environment, all instantly correlated. Otherwise, the world would fall apart. In fact, when those correlations get disturbed by actions that interfere with those correlations, and action is threat or the perception of threat, which we call stress, then we get dis-ease. Dis-ease. We don't feel at ease. Lightness of being is disturbed. And if the dis-ease persists, it becomes disease from a consciousness perspective. Everything is correlated. Everything is entangled. Everything is non-locally inseparable. As my friend Larry Dossey has said, this correlation is unmediated. There's no medium of exchange. The correlation happens by itself because it's all part of one activity. Unmediated, unmitigated. The robustness of the correlation doesn't diminish with distance in space and time. So when I feel love for my mother, who's long deceased, that love does not diminish whether I am in Los Angeles or New Delhi or New York. Remains the same. All I have to do is put attention to it. Okay, so attention brings the correlation into conscious awareness, but it's there even without the correlation. Attention and intention are the triggers, as I said, for transformation, and that's all you need. Who am I? What do I want? What's my purpose? What am I grateful for? Are important questions to cultivate the presence of being, but all you need is attention and intention and presence. Presence. And you see that everything is correlated with everything else. So it's unmediated, it's unmitigated. The robustness of this correlation does not diminish and with distance in space-time. Past, present, future, all correlated. Entire lifetimes, all correlated. Unmediated, unmitigated, and instantaneous. Right now, all you have to do is step into being. Today, step into being as frequently as you can, just by being present to experience. And then mentally just say to yourself, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. That's it for today. Barbara Holick, thank you. Elsa, thank you. Janice, thank you. Anahita, Aham Brahmasmi, yes. Om Bansal. What is Neti Neti? Neti Neti is I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the elements and forces of the universe, I'm not any experience, I am the non-local, timeless, infinite being in which all experience happens. Neti, not this, not that, not this, just I am. That's what Neti Neti is. When correlations get disturbed, then stress and disease happen. Yes, Alma. Brian, thank you. Olga, be well. And with that, let's call it a day. Aham Brahmasmi.